Now, there are many great debates within the college football realm. Which state has the most fertile recruiting ground? Which coaching jobs are harder than others? And was Rudy really offsides? But there's one to me that stands out above the rest. Which state is the most underrated in producing good football teams? Now, I'm not saying which state has the most Division I teams or which state produces the best high school talent. This question regards the state that does not get enough credit for putting out a great product. Some will say North Carolina. Some will default to the mega states like Texas or California. But the answer? It's the great state of Utah. Now, while football isn't the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the name, they're putting out more winning products than Apple right now. Last year, all three D1 FBS teams in Utah finished in the top 25 after the Utes won the Pac-12 and narrowly lost Ohio State in the Rose Bowl. Utah State won the Mountain West and 11 games overall, and BYU went 10-3. You don't have to be Matt Damon from Good Will Hunting to know that's 31 wins and 2 conference championships combined, with BYU being independent, even though they are going to the Big 12 here soon. But Utah offers more than just wins. BYU was number 1 overall in attendance out west last year, with Utah coming in at number 4, trailing only Washington and USC. Another fun fact about the state of Utah is that even though they rank 35th in population at just under 3 million, they offer more Division I football scholarships than the whole state of Georgia, who has over 3 times the population that Utah has. Hell, even Weber State typically makes the FCS playoff on a regular basis. The head coaches at all 3 of these schools are household names who have been uber successful in Coach Winningham, Sataki, and Blake Anderson. Now, when it comes to being underrated as a football state and being efficient with the teams that you have, the Beehive State is swarming with upside, and it's only getting better. I'm bringing my co-host, and also Stashgate 2022. Guys, I'm sick to my stomach to even bring this up. We're going to get to this later. Blaine, whatever his name is.
My lawyer's listening, so be careful.
Good. I'm bringing
Be careful
all
what
the
you
smoke.
say.
I'm going to say all of it.
Yeah.
You can tell everybody. But
Expect a letter.
But good. But Cone, when you do look at the state of Utah, and again, there's easy places to default. People say, oh, well, Florida. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking the most underrated. Yeah, but not even per capita, but the most underrated. When I say Utah, the first thing you don't think of is football, or most people don't think of football. When I say Louisiana, what do you think of? LSU or the Saints.
Sure.
I say Alabama, what do you think of? Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, hell, even Georgia Tech. So when you look at Utah and being where they are at geographically, I mean, and they're only getting better. Blake's building a monster over there at Utah State. The Mountain West it's not an easy conference at all. Again, Utah's right now is better than they have ever been. They're healthier as a program, in my opinion, than they have ever been. And then BYU, you're transitioning to the Big 12. You led out west, the whole West, in attendance for games last year. I mean, it speaks volumes, and we need to start showing some love to the state of Utah, and that's what we're going to start doing literally today.
Yeah, and BYU came to Georgia Southern last season, played in Statesboro. That was to a sold-out crowd. You know, I'm glad you've been talking about this for the last few days because it's not something I would have thought of, really. You know, like you said, you don't think of great college football when you think of the state of Utah, but it really is phenomenal what they've been able to do. It's exciting. It's good for the game. And I like another point you made, which is it doesn't look like it's going to stop. I mean, I think I have Utah winning the Pac-12.
I got them going undefeated in the Pac-12, David.
Right? Yeah, you do. You actually have them going undefeated there and losing to Florida. I think they may beat Florida and maybe then could go undefeated in the conference. BYU is going to join the Big 12. So, look, I think that this is very exciting moving forward for the state of Utah. What do you think BYU's future is going to look like once they do join the conference?
I think it's a great fit. Look, we know BYU, we know they have a following. They have a whole religion. I mean, call it what it is. I mean, they have literally a huge following. We talk about the attendance. I think it's fantastic for them. I think, look, like you said, BYU travels. Typically having to play that independent schedule is harder on fans because you're more spread out as opposed, and even though now conferences aren't, geography doesn't matter anymore. Look at USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten. There's plenty of other examples. But now that BYU will be able to play even bigger household names on a more consistent basis, that's only going to make you better. You go to the Big 12, you're playing Oklahoma State, Baylor. I mean, look at the ads. I mean, we can go on a different diatribe about how good the Big 12's done in these editions with UCF and Houston. I mean, we'll go down the list. But a big question for me, and Blaine, I want to throw this to you. If you had to bet on the next 5 years, let's take Utah State out of it. I don't think it's fair, and Coach Anderson is unbelievable. We used to have to play him at Arkansas State, and it was hell to play him. He's doing a great job at Utah State. It's not fair for me to compare the Utah State to BYU and Utah. But if I had to say, all right, Blaine, you had to put money over the next 5 years, who to have more success, BYU going to the Big 12, and let's just say the Pac-12, Utah stays in the Pac-12, or Utah staying in the Pac-12, who do you think has more success? Utah.
Agreed.
100% Utah. If we go to another state I kind of want to think of too, if you go to Utah, I mean, at least you're next to California recruiting-wise,
Yep.
But one state I was kind of thinking was Iowa.
Yeah.
Iowa State. I mean, you go to Iowa, I'm not trying to sit here and hate on the state of Iowa, but there's not a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, I've coached in the state of Iowa.
You go to Iowa, you go to Kansas. I mean, good. Kansas at least has good barbecue, but I've been through Iowa and there's not a lot to do. So getting recruits to go out there seems like a tough job. But man, the one thing about Utah is like every year it seems like they care more and more and more. And there might be because they've been successful
And they're doing
the last
better,
couple of years, right? And that matters. But I like the way Utah just plays football in general, man. It's out west, they're probably the closest to an SEC team to me, right? It's good defense, have great linebackers coming through there year after year, and they're physical on the ground. So I would say Utah is probably the most underrated sports state with the success I have. Big Utah State guy too. So I agree with your take, but other than that, I would say Iowa.
I like that.
I don't think that's a stretch. I mean, look, the Jazz need to take a page out of BYU's and Utah's and Utah State's.
Well, Donovan Mitchell's about to get traded.
Figure it out. Well, good. That's the best thing that could happen for Donovan Mitchell. I don't want to steer the ship too far. If you like that content, go ahead and subscribe because we're going to be balling every day on Crane & Company. Hit that like button while you're at it and go ahead and smash it like Derrick Henry on an ISO run.